got a special guest today, mhm, Jason Hill. You are a professor of philosophy at DePaul University and the author of some pretty interesting stuff, including your latest book, What Do White Americans Owe Black People? Racial Justice in the Age of Post-Oppression. How's it going?
Went pretty well. I just jumped out of the class on evil, becoming evil, or ordinary people become evil, to be here with you, so that's great. I'm glad to share this moment.
Yeah, that's, so tell me, you've got had a pretty interesting life here. Tell me a little bit about your background, where you're from, and how you got here.
Well, I was born and raised in Jamaica, and I came here in 1985 at age 20. Basically, I really came here to be a novelist and a poet, and that was my dream, to be a full-time writer and to do a PhD in philosophy. So I came here at the age of 20 with $120 in my pocket, and I landed and got a green card, so I came to a green card to immigrant. And with my mother and my grandmother and my brother who came to give moral support, and my mother thought I was too young to do coming, so she wanted to give more support. So I came here ready to go to college education and to pursue a life as then I decided I wanted to be a professor, a philosopher, and a writer. So I did have came to Atlanta and did a degree, 2 degrees in philosophy and literature. And then I had to work up to 4 jobs to put myself through school. Got a scholarship to get my PhD in philosophy at Purdue. And just fell in love with America when I was a child. I just always loved this great republic, thought it was the most unprecedented phenomenon that God had ever created. And wanted to be an American when I was very, very young. And got my PhD in 1998. And I've been a professor ever since. And I've taken it as my vocation now, not just to be a professor, but a public intellectual, and to pursue the American dream, because I think that this country has been subjected to a lot of American-phobia, and there are people who want to take us down. And part of my new vocation, falling as a writer and a public intellectual, is to try to do my best to save this republic from the evildoers who are out to destroy this republic.
Now, when you say evildoers, I know I've read some of your work before. You refer to some certain groups in the intelligentsia as black nihilists or liberal nihilists, stuff like that. People who, seem to. It's almost as if they have this argument, but it's rooted in a fatalistic, like there's nothing we can do about this. We're like a permanent, almost victimhood, right? And that's something that you've rejected in your practice and your writing for quite some time now. First, I'll say that people who leave places that aren't great and show up here obviously have quite a bit of different perspective than people who begin here and never face any real hardship. I mean, it's this whole debate over the last 15 years or so has been really interesting to me. How there's been a push by academia and other folks to recognize others' lived experience as not anecdotal but like empirical evidence. You know what I mean? And that's not really reality. But they seem to be, I guess, in my opinion, they seem to be wanting on doing the same thing for people like you, first-generation Americans, who have seen really bad shit somewhere, right? And it's not just, people have come here certainly from worse places than Jamaica. Jamaica's not that bad, but, like, people have come here and struggled to get here and come here like you with nothing and built a life of their own, because that's what we do here. And, like, how does that, as a philosopher, how do you quantify that? Because I know a lot of what you do is talk about how people think. You know what I mean? Like, elucidate how people think. So what's the, like, how do you communicate with people like that who think that in their cushy life they're experiencing something quite a bit more difficult, or they're just seeing things through such a different lens than somebody who's actually gone through quite a bit of actual difficulty?
Well, I point out the hypocrisy of it all, really. I think that they have these framing narratives that have nothing to do with reality, right? It's all about power, and it's all about creating a victim narrative that allows them to exercise, to become a managerial class, to lord it over people, to deny those people of their creative agency. So if you look at the left, and what the left has done to this country in terms of black people, that basically, black people are very resilient people. Through slavery, through Jim Crow, they have striven for success. They have built communities, they've built schools, they've built hotels. A rich history of entrepreneurship among blacks in this country, from slavery, post-slavery, during the worst periods of Jim Crow, before the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And right, and that story is left out of the narrative of black people, predominated by the left. Conservatives, I think, celebrate the history, rich history of blacks. But you've got these black victimologists who create a narrative of nothing but victimhood, that America is intrinsically bigoted, that it's in our political DNA to keep black people down, that black people are outside the American dream. So what I do is I show up with hypocrisy. I point to the facts. I point to the rich history during the Harlem Renaissance, but even going back to slavery and after slavery, of blacks who have made it in this country, who have a record of success and achievement, and that there's a mismatch between the narrative that they are creating. And they're creating this narrative for a couple of reasons. One is to expropriate the agency of black people, to tell them that you're nothing without a managerial liberal class that will take care of you, that will give you welfare checks, that you can't use your creative agency to solve problems. It's all about buying votes, and it's all about controlling the minds of people and making them turning them into children, helpless children. And so someone like myself comes along who has never been a victim, will never be a victim. It's just not part of my makeup to be a victim. And they can't make sense of me because the narratives don't match. I mean, I lived in a group cell for 8 years. I actually lived in Ku Klux Klan County because it was cheap to live there. I lived in Klansmen. I've taught Klan students in the cornfields of Indiana and Southern Illinois, and I've never considered myself a victim. So I've navigated among various subgroups of America. And when I talk about my experiences and how I've dealt with, I've had my share of dealing with racism, that it's not from the victim-centered point of view that I take control of the situation and deal with it head on. So I think, how I to answer your question, I show up with hypocrisy. I show that there's a narrative out there, and then there are the experiences, the actual experiences of black people that do not constitute a monolithic group. You see, the speakers of blacks are just this one monolithic group, and we're all helpless victims, trampling under the foot of the white man who's there to get us. That's not a thing. It's a kind of inverse racism, right? If your skin color is white, then you're automatic racist and you have white privilege.
Yeah, that's really bizarre to me, how, I mean, we talk about it here a lot because I like to have difficult conversations because, they're necessary. And it's really odd to me that the position of, frequently the position of the left is that certain groups of people in our society are completely incapable of like finding a job or finding an attorney to start a business or getting ID to vote. You know what I mean? We've heard about that a lot. It started with affirmative action back in the day, this phrase, the racism of lowered expectations, I guess, or the prejudice of lowered expectations.
Bigotry.
Yeah, bigotry, yeah. I mean, that's been a pretty common thing. Man, it's so bizarre to me that would be the hill that you die on, right? Like this huge issue that we have in our country. And there is a huge issue, but I want to talk more about it. You do a lot of work on this, so I want to go through some of the paces of what got us here today, right? So from the Atlantic slave trade to present, and then a lot of the things that happened through that period, right? I think it's good to establish a little bit of background before we get into your premise in the book about what do white people owe black Americans and so forth. So, can you walk me through, from your perspective, look, the Caribbean sugar trade was a big part of this, obviously. And quite a bit of it in your home country. So I wonder if you might take me through some of the key points in history that you think were inflection points for us to get to where we are today.
Well, one of the major points I make in my book is that, look, and there's a chapter called How the African Made Himself, is that what's also left out of the history book is the huge collusion among Arabs, Africans, and European explorers. That is the slave trade, and Henry Lewis Gates, the African-American professor at Harvard, made the point that 90% of the slave trade was facilitated between blacks and white slave trade traders. That is, the slave trade would not have gotten off the ground unless Africans had engaged in kidnapping, raids, and facilitated this trade. And then we have this idea that Europeans arrived on the shores of Africa and just run roughshod over the continent and kidnapped these Africans. So the Africans were complicit in the slave trade to begin with. They lacked the technological superiority of the Europeans because in some sense they failed to abstract themselves from nature and failed to build a technological civilization that could protect themselves from European encroachment. So they facilitated the slave trade. So there's equal blame to go around. And if people are going to talk about reparations, then they should talk about reparations from sub-Saharan African countries, out of which the slave trade arose. Then, so the slave trade was horrific. Slavery was horrific. America was born with a birth defect, which inherited and privilege. And what most people don't really talk about is that the miraculous thing is that it was, historically speaking, given the ubiquity of slavery and how it existed since antiquity, how short a period of time between the Declaration of Independence and the emancipation of slavery that was, comparatively speaking. Slavery existed in Egypt for thousands of years.
Right. I mean, it's existed everywhere for thousands of years, right?
For thousands of years, right? And given the 1776 founding of this country, Declaration of Independence, and the emancipation of slavery after the Civil War, that's a very short period of time, and America deserves credit for that. So the Civil War was fought, and I argue that was the first reparative gesture that was made towards blacks. That is, thousands of both black and white soldiers died to free the slaves. And the next great, that was our second founding. The next great founding, third founding of this country was the 64th Civil Rights Act, which I actually called a eugenical moment in America because it not only granted blacks full equality before the law, it told the racist white people that you can't use your business as an extension of your living room, as an extension of your sovereign body. Right? We're going to turn you into non-racists. We're going to make the practice of private racism illegal, which is a form of social eugenics. So it was a violation of property rights. I argue that it was a reasonable violation given the collusion between the state and private citizens that the state had actually made racists out of non-racist people out of these laws that prevented capitalism from flourishing with the seasonal color. So that's the great founding of the third great founding of this country. And then we have the great society around poverty, which is, I think, which began the downfall of blacks in this country. And the President Johnson.
It's almost like never let a good tragedy go to waste kind of situation. The media likes to do that, and it's not just politicians. We think of politicians in their form today as like a transient group that people come in and out of it. Although there are a lot of long-term people, but this is just patrician behavior, right? In a different form of government. It's been going on since the beginning of humanity. Anytime, think about first century Rome, the second triumvirate. Mark Antony is in Egypt, and he's stopping wheat shipments from going to Rome because he wants to instigate a war with who would become Augustus. And it worked, right? I mean, they used the food shortage to instigate a war. And man, it's seems like a lot of that stuff goes on, and I don't understand how. Maybe it's just a failure on conservatives' part, but I don't understand how they didn't recapture that narrative when LBJ started these massive entitlement programs that were very clearly designed to get black people just high enough where there's some progress so they can get their vote, but not high enough that they have actual upward mobility, right? I mean, it seemed pretty obvious even at the time, and man, I don't understand why that was never a talking point for Republicans. You know what I mean? Maybe they didn't care. Maybe it was still some kind of subtle racism. Maybe they thought that the black vote was impossible to get anyways. I don't know what it was. But whatever it was extremely damaging to the black community over the last 40 years or so, right?
I think so. And I think, to answer your question, I think the conservatives, and many people were sort of covering up a sense of guilt that they had felt. So the War on Poverty, the Great Society program, which destroyed the black family, which disintegrated so many black fathers from being fathers and married the black women to the state, to become surrogate husband of the black.
That's a really good point.
To become the surrogate husband of the emasculated black men, disintegrating them from their families, breaking up the family structure. Incidentally, the ultimate wedlock birth rose from, it was 22% at 1960, after 1968, and today it's still 74% of African American children born out of wedlock, and that's very deeply correlated to poverty. A lot of whites, I think, just felt guilty and felt embarrassed, that retrospective embarrassment that how blacks had been treated, rather than say, look, there's just so far that a free republic can go in terms of bringing blacks fully qualified before the law, before we start transgressing on the rights of people, and then we become a totalitarian state.
Right, and it's counterintuitive to the way this country was formed in the first place, right? Now, I mean, obviously we had some issues from the birth, but what we wrote down, the principles that we believed in, were that individual liberty mattered and that we should prioritize solving problems at the lowest possible level. That's what the 9th and 10th Amendments are about, right? So, all of a sudden, maybe it's just mission creep. I don't know. Like, I don't always like to imply malice. Sometimes things just get away from people, I guess, but the idea that the state knows better than you is not a new one. It's not unique to the United States. It's not unique to the West. It's not unique to, like, the last 1,000 years even, and that's always been the case, right? So, we've man, I feel like gender theory and critical race theory are sociological answers to biological and historical questions, right? Which is not, you wouldn't do that in any other field. Like, you wouldn't get a literary answer to a math problem. You know what I mean? Like, that's very basic common sense. But the fallacy is the standard in academia right now, right? To teach it that way. And I feel like we've really done ourselves, I mean, public education has been in trouble for a while, but we've really done ourselves a disservice in laying that foundation. So now we're stuck with and you know it better than most because you're an academia professor. How much time do you have to spend deprogramming bad ideas out of people at this point?
Well, unfortunately, you can't, because our universities have become cults. They're no longer learning centers. They're no longer places where you impart objective knowledge. They've become cults. They've become bastions of they're becoming indoctrination centers for far left, far left Marxist teachings to usher this country, and I'll say this, into not even what I would call a democratic socialist country, into a communist country. Our universities, and I've been a professor for 25 years, because I was building the years I taught as a graduate student, reparations to expand the welfare state. It would cost this country $14 trillion to expand the welfare state by trading on white guilt and profiteering on any kind of black suffering in order to introduce socialism into this country.
Without ever actually solving any of the problems, right? So one of the themes of the book is not only should we not, like, it's what do white Americans owe whatever is not even the right question to be asking, right? Like that's one of the I read a book called Between Barack and a Hard Place. I think the guy's name is what is it? Tim something or other. Tim Weiss, I think his name is, and it was about how he kind of goes through some of the history of race relations, particularly in America. Like the economists estimate that something like $1 trillion was robbed out of the black community through not paying wages for slavery. He makes the point that 80+% of all wealth is transferred from one generation to the next, meaning inheritances or equity in a business or a home or property, whatever it is, right? And then he tells this story about how when he was going to college at LSU, somebody had made a big pot of gumbo, right? And he didn't make it. He didn't even eat any of it, but they just left it there, and it just kind of started to stink after a while, right? It was getting rancid. It's like, well, at some point you have to realize that it doesn't really matter who caused this problem. You've got a problem to fix. And that's just being a good roommate or being a good person. But when you map that on to politics and just the welfare of human beings in our country right now, people, these bad, I consider them bad actors. These bad actors who take advantage of that situation and try to use it towards some political end. That's about the worst way you can manage that situation. I mean, at least have the, I say this in jest sometimes, but at least conservatives had the decency to ignore the problem and not make it worse. But what is the right question? I mean, one of the quotes, one of the phrases I like to use is the only color that matters in this country is green. You don't see Will Smith going to jail, for example, right, for slapping somebody in front of millions of people. Like, he can commit assault in front of millions of people, and it's fine because he's rich. So, if this isn't the right question, what is the right question?
Well, in some sense, that is the right question, because that is a question that presupposes the whole reparations issue. So I deliberately use that as a provocative question. But a more apt title would have been how the left is using reparations to usher in socialism into this country. Right? But it's the question that presupposes the notion that reparations is a tenable and even morally, I think it's unethical, but a morally agenda on the part of the left. So the answer, I mean, and I wrote the book to give people, both black and white, some kind of intellectual ammunition to things, because reparations is making its way through, H.R. Ford is making its way through Congress. It's almost law now in California. And so it's going to be the next big thing in the coming elections, and Americans are not going to be able to escape it at all. And it's the underlying question is really, white people owe black people something, and, I'm not going to give up the answer because that would symbolize me from me. But there are lots of things that we owe each other as human beings, and one of the premises that I want to emphasize here is that America was founded on political equality, not economic equality. And this whole reparations movement is meant to establish equity, which is a form of socialism, really, because we're not all equal. We're not equal in intelligence, we're not equal in athletic prowess, and this notion that equality between the races is untenable. We don't even have equality interracially because we have different values, we have different talents, we have different attitudes. How do you redistribute values? How do you redistribute talents? And so on and so forth. So it's really meant to give people ammunition and to inoculate them against the onslaughts that are going to occur when these reparationists get their way in power. So I think right question, and the answer is forthcoming, is in the book. There are various answers that reparations have already been made, and I spell out how the reparative moments were made in this country, and the rights we have done can't go beyond what they've done. If we value freedom and liberty in this country as preeminent values, right? I mean, there are just certain inconveniences that we're going to have to live with. Let me say one thing else. This idea of reducing every single disparity, every single asymmetry between the races, whether it's hypertension, whether it's obesity, whether it's diabetes, to racism, positive linking to racism, is such malarkey. It's this blanket trope that people on the left use as a weapon over mostly white people. That if I'm overweight, or if I've got diabetes, or if I consume too much sugar, that's what the 1619 problem is all about, right? Then it has to be causally tracing it back to racism. And that's how they give the reparations movement its moral justification.
That because processed foods are cheaper, right? That's biased, I guess. I don't know.
Yes.
That's a pretty. I mean, there's quite a few rural white people who are quite obese as well. If you don't believe me, come here to Texas. There's actually San Antonio is, I think, the fattest city on earth by population. I think it's the fattest city on earth. So, one of the common beliefs held by most people about reparations is that there might be some kind of redistribution, some kind of amount paid from the government of the United States to individuals in the country, right? Now, can you tell me why that's a bad idea? I mean, I know why it's a bad idea. I just want to hear it from your perspective, why you think that's a bad idea.
Well, look, there are two things to consider. I think, like, during the Japanese internment, there are people who lost property because properties were confiscated from them, and they could ostensibly point to properties that were confiscated, and they were given reparations. Right. So if they're black, and there have been a few cases in Mississippi and in other southern states where it was shown that through certain laws passed under Jim Crow, that blacks were deprived of generation in the past and on properties. Those individuals are due reparations administered through the courts of law. But the idea that Obama's children, that a surgeon who was a millionaire, that his children, that he could deserve no reparation, that someone from the south side of Chicago, is absolutely ludicrous. This idea that somehow every single person equally is a victim of systemic racism is problematic, because reparations, I think, is predicated on the idea that systemic racism suffuses every institution in our country. Now, I challenge that. I think that used to be the case. There was a time when systemic racism suffused our institutions. We have moved on. That is not the case. America is no longer, there are individual white supremacists, but America is no longer a white supremacist country. We do not have an ideology that prioritizes the white race any longer as a superior race. So that's our belief. So all the premises on which reparations are predicated that systemic racism suffuses every institution, so the residual effects of slavery continue to haunt and disfigure black lives, is completely untenable. So reparations really falls on empty claims, because it really rests on this notion that systemic racism suffuses our institutions, and B, that all white persons, this is the next claim that they make, that all white persons, by virtue of having white skin, have white privilege conferred on them. As I've said in an article, I don't know, I've taught kids from Appalachia who have had no teeth, no running water. I fail to see how someone from Appalachia who is white, with no health care, no access to clean water, with teeth missing, how that person has any kind of white privilege see what I'm saying? The idea is just ludicrous. To unilaterally say that every white person has the same amount of white privilege, and that by virtue of having that white privilege, they are a lawful practitioner of racism. So the untenability of reparations lies on its false and dubious underlying claims, which just are empirically false. And besides, I think it would just create a kind of some kind of divisiveness are healthy, right? I don't want to be on the same side of the communists, right? But some forms of divisiveness are unhealthy, and I think reparations would divide this country so deeply in a way that's unnecessary. So if the underlying claims themselves are true, that yes, America is systemically racist and we have to fight that, then that's a form of divisiveness that we should face. But given that all the underlying claims I think are so false, it would divide this country in a way that would be truly, truly tragic.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so. Yeah, I agree with all that, and I also agree with the underlying condition being. I'm sorry, the underlying motive here from these leftists is to institute some kind of socialism, right? I mean, it seems like it. Otherwise, you don't do things like this unless that's your goal.
That's right.
So
that's what.
Now continue, please.
No, you go. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's just people are afraid to say that's their goal, I guess, in the left, or maybe, you should be very suspicious of anybody who's trying to do something, but they won't say specifically what it is they're trying to do. You know what I mean? Like that is always a bad sign. Just don't worry about it. We got you. And it's this attitude that the state somehow knows better than I do how to live my life is something that has been uniquely rejected by America from its inception. And now you have, and it's so bizarre that it's this group of people, it's this boomer generation who spent the 70s going crazy on experimental drugs and protesting everything, and now they are agents of the state, telling people to surrender their agency to the state. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know if you've seen something like this before. In what other civilization in human history? Plenty of civilizations have been taken advantage of by a patrician class, but what other civilization went from let's use Rage Against the Machine, the band, as an example here. What other civilization in the course of 20 years 25 years went from fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, to fuck you, do what they tell you, right? Like that is so bizarre to me. It's like everybody's hypnotized somehow.
Well, I'll tell you, it started, I think that the mind started, and I have a whole chapter in the book about this, that started with the dark side of the civil rights movement that I talked about. There was a bright and a side that was oriented towards justice, that is emancipating black people from legal oppression. It started with the nihilism that started in our university campuses with the creation of these black studies programs, women's studies, queer studies, Chicano studies, post-colonial studies, all these advocacy, or what I call in the book the revolutionary studies programs, right, that had as their goal the destruction of Western civilization, the destruction of capitalism, the criminalization of reason and logic, the assault against an objective reality. These activists had encroached in our universities in the late 1960s and were granted sovereignty and autonomy, were talked about systemic nihilists. It's a cult of nihilism. And we are seeing the chickens that come home to roost, and the whole notion of defunding, decolonizing the academy, accusing the academy of propagating ideas by racist, imperialist white men. This is the fall of what happened in the 1960s when you had a bunch of nihilists that replaced scholarship and deep learning with activism and advocacy. And the results today are taking over crippling, and so you criminalize critical thinking, you criminalize reason, logic, and call them the constructs of imperialist white men. And what you have are a bunch of individuals who are snowflakes to overdo they offer up their feelings ignorance and their sense of being offended, and we use that as criteria for, adjudicating among truth claims. And instead of using logic, reason, evidence, everybody's experiences and everybody's feelings are what matter. And we're in a crisis right now because this country is under attack by these radical left-wing, you can't even call them progressives in the true sense of the word. They're nihilists, right? And they hate capitalism, they hate America for being a good country. They hate America for being successful. And it's interesting that they use critical race theory because critical race theory and reparations really go hand in hand, because if you can indict all white people as inherently evil and racist by virtue of having white skin, and then you can,
everybody's guilty then, right?
everybody's guilty, and then by inverse kind of reasoning, all black people are now victims, right? And you see how the moral argument works. So you gotta attack critical race theory and really define it, because it gives reparations its moral justification.
Yeah.
These people are very clever.
They are very clever. I mean, it comes back to what I said before. There is a concerted effort by the media and by academia and by a lot of politicians to deny that CRT exists at all. Much less that it's being taught in schools and stuff like that, but they deny that it's, like, can you even define what critical race theory is? Like, yeah, actually I can, because I know who Karl Marx is. And the fact that these people refuse to admit that that's what they're doing, again, brings up what I said before. If somebody's on this train and they're making moves, like, if somebody's over there with a key trying to put it inside of my door lock, I'm assuming that they're trying to get into my home, right? That's a pretty reasonable assumption to make. When I see folks, we've gone from teaching people how to think. That's what primary education used to do, right? We went from teaching people how to think to trying to program people what to think, which is that's a big problem. It's a big problem that not just in the fact that people are getting programmed and groomed to believe certain things. It's an even bigger problem that we've become incapable of actually solving any kind of problem, because people lack critical thinking now. Now, the next time a big problem comes up, not only can we not think anymore, but people are losing faith in all these institutions that are supposed to be arbiters of reality. You know what I mean?
That's right. And you said something about fixing problems. One of the things that attracts me to America is that Americans are problem solvers. They fix things. And one of the things that I'm seeing in academia and I'm seeing in this country is this, and in fact my next book is going to be, it's called, I should tell you, Man-Haters, Toxic Femininity and the Assault of American Men. Because I think one of the pernicious and nefarious things that's going on in this country is the attack against masculinity, right? And the attack against any attempt to fix problems. And our civilization is a man-made, and I mean that seriously, most male constructed civilization, that where the dirt and the dirty work of maintaining that civilization, from cleaning the skyscrapers to tarring the streets, are done by men. And there's a concerted effort to attack masculinity, to attack men in this country, who are I'm not saying women are not participants in this, but the problem solvers. So the cripple, you see early on, to cripple all the agents, the actors, the good actors, who are the problem solvers, to call them toxic, not just the behaviors of men that are bad, but the expression of any kind of masculinity as toxic, as a way of paralyzing this country. And you paralyze the country, you hold it hostage, you make it right for socialist takeover, which includes crippling people's minds. So there's a method to all of, everything sort of comes together into an integrated, comprehensive way. There are no disparate, none of this is disparate and unrelatable. They all come into an intelligible, and you sit down with the reparations, the attack against masculinity, the assault against young boys in schools, that should be rambunctious, and the sort of makes sense when you look at the ultimate aims of what these leftists are up to.
Sure, I mean, my expertise is warfare, like literal warfare. So when I see something like this, I try to map it out in my brain as if it was some kind of military operation, right, like a campaign of some sort. And when I see the intelligentsia and politics and the media in this coordinated effort to destabilize and sometimes eliminate, but certainly weaken the institutions that protect us, right? Like, so critical thought is a really important thing. Not just for liberty's sake, but again, to solve the problems that arise in our universe, whether they be sociological, psychological, or economic, or whatever, right? Acts of nature, whatever it is. Very important, but the other institutions that have been under attack for some time now. It started with the military back in the day, right, in the 1970s during Vietnam, as if they chose to draft themselves and deploy themselves to Vietnam. Like everybody, people were protesting actual soldiers and not the government. That's very bizarre, right? And there had to be some messaging behind that. Fast forward to the last 5 years or so, it's been police, right? We've had all these attempts to monolith police as some kind of like violent hand of the state. And frankly, look, I've got issues with the way a lot of police handled the last 2 years and mandates and lockdowns and shit like that. But the reality of the situation is that 275 million interactions between police and civilians a year in this country, and less than a tenth of 1% end in any kind of negative way, to include arrest even. So the reality of those situations aren't there. And then the last one is obviously masculinity itself. I mean, that is under attack. And when I see all these things being attacked by a coordinated effort from multiple places, my mind immediately thinks of what I would do if I was trying to isolate a group of people and attack their supply. You attack supply lines and shut them off, and then you attack the quick reaction force, the people that are going to come save them should anything go wrong, and then you launch your attack against them, right? So when I see a population being stripped of its agency, of its critical thought, of the masculine energy that protects it, and then rampant attempts to disarm the population, my brain only goes in one direction. Somebody's going to try to come start some shit at some point. Right, that's the, like, your spider sense should be going off right now if you're out there in the universe, especially here in America. We've seen it in Canada with them freezing bank accounts, and now they've got this journalism certification you have to get from the government, otherwise you don't get breaks, like tax breaks and stuff, and eventually it'll be, you have to have that certification to, well, it's already the case that you have to have this journalism certification to attend government functions. So you can't report on Parliament or the Prime Minister unless you are approved by the Canadian government. Now this is just north of us, right here in Canada, which we thought was a republic, democracy, blah, blah, blah as well. Clearly it's not. Or clearly, all of these things are just one generation away from going away. So I'm not sure, I'm not a conspiracy theorist either. I'm a cynic. In a lot of ways, but I'm definitely a skeptic on most stuff, because I want people to, if you've got a theory, prove it, and we'll see if it's right or not. If it's unfalsifiable, then I'm not going to listen. If it's, if it's crazy and there's no proof for it, I mean, it's interesting to speculate about, but I'm not going to give it a lot of my time. But this one seems pretty, it seems pretty linear, like you were saying. All these elements are kind of fitting into this puzzle. And it's alarming. It's very alarming. So what do you see, like, from your position in academia, our position in media, what are we doing right now to battle this?
Well, one other point I want to make is to add to what you're saying, because you're not a cynic, you're a realist. There's this move to non-gender children in the schools, which is a way of appropriating children from their parents, which is the biggest, one of the most heinous things that's happening, where the public schools are taking children away from their parents by non-gendering them. That's a confiscation of parental rights. Right? So you're neutering these children, there's the need on the taking away the biological identities. And God knows what's going to happen to the military if we have a bunch of needed children. I don't know that the media is doing anything, and I want to say that I have a criticism as an independent conservative myself. I have, a lot of criticisms. The left has won the culture wars, and I want to say that conservatives really don't know how to fight culture wars. Conservatives think that they can fight everything at the political level. We need to infiltrate Hollywood. We need to infiltrate comedy. We need to infiltrate the arts. Why is there no equivalent of the Pulitzer Prize in the conservative world, or the National Book Award, or the Nobel Prize? I think conservatives have to sort of be more multifaceted in this war, and not think that they can fight it on the political front. We have to get into Netflix. We have to get into all spheres of life, because people just don't live from the neck up. And one thing that the left is very, very clever at is learning how to fight the culture wars. Right? So, even in terms of my book, I've had conservatives say, we're not going to review the book because we need to tone it down. It's a little bit too radical. And I think, are you kidding me? Even when Kennedy comes up with a book called How to Be an Anti-Racist, spewing hatred against America and white people, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Nicole Hannah-Jones, and within 5 months these people are famous. So conservatives, I think, have got to band closer together and learn that the attack against America is very, very real, and the way to fight it is not just in the political realm, it's also in the cultural realm. It's strange because conservatives are seen, in some sense, in the public sphere as being warriors, but they're not really warriors. They're lone wolves who sort of fight these battles piecemeal. And what we need is a comprehensive, integrated movement where we can have reasonable disagreements among ourselves, but there are certain underlying foundational values that we agree upon, and we steadfastly pursue those values. The way the left disagree among certain things, but by God, they want socialism, and they're going to fight for socialism, and they're going to squibble over certain things, but they know what they want. And we have to know very clearly what our foundational values are. And we can have squabbles among ourselves, but we fight for those values. I think conservatives get into too many piecemeal battles and fight too much among themselves about non-essentials and non-fundamentals.
Sure. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to organize a bunch of people that are individualistic. Right? That's always going to be a problem.
It's always a problem, but I think we've underperceived the threat. I think people like DeSantis knows the threat is very, there are lone warriors out there who realized that the lockdowns, for example, I think he knew that the lockdowns would not work. Right? He went along with it because he pretty much had to, but we realized now that the lockdowns, we had lockdowns, they didn't work. Right? It's a bad idea. Crippled our economy and destroyed millions of lives economically. So I think that people get individuals who get certain things. But I think that we have to ramp it up a little bit. That is, we have to sort of really be non-apologetic for American values and American exceptionalism, and stop being apologists and stop ceding the moral argument to the left. I think the left wins, and that's why one of the reasons I wrote this book, because I think there are still conservatives who think that, who buy this argument that, I just did a debate at Colorado Christian University with a conservative, a white conservative, who was arguing that reparations are the Christian thing, is the Christian thing to do. And I said, so we had this interesting debate, and he said, because somebody has to clean up the mess. If you use the analogy that you did. Right. And there were so many people in the audience who said, yes, we personally didn't create this mess, but it's a mess, and we have an obligation to do it. And so, in some sense, the people on the right, such as myself, and that they have conservative values. That if you believe in self-responsibility, self-accountability, that if you believe that your life and your destiny lie in your hands, that you're responsible for your life, appropriation, reproductive choices that you make are yours and not anybody else. That really tell people what conservative values are, and that most people, by that definition, would be conservative. But I really think that this is another thing with conservatives, that they talk among themselves. And I'm very happy to be on this show, doing a lot of podcasts. But they're getting on like the big networks, they talk among themselves, and it's a small part of conservatives. I've been on Tucker a couple of times in Lower England, but they really need to spread the message more in a much more down-to-earth manner to ordinary people. I think they have sort of abandoned, in the same way that Hillary called Trump supporters deplorables, I think a lot of conservatives have sort of abandoned reasonable people who want a narrative explained to them about what do conservative values consist in, and can recognize themselves in that narrative. I think that's the role that we sort of have.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about conservative media, but when's the last time, you've been here since '85, I don't think we've had a truly conservative president since you've been here. I mean, Trump to some degree, but certainly not George W. Bush. I mean, he presided the largest expansion of federal government in history, and Reagan raised taxes in 5 out of the 8 years he was in office and stuff like that. By my estimation, it was probably Eisenhower was our last, truly conservative president, that had a clearly delineated list of conservative ideals that he believed in, that he, through his actions, represented. That's what I mean when I say that. People call themselves one thing or another, but I feel like we're lacking in leadership in that position. Maybe a lot of it's probably just due to the groupthink that you're talking about, the small amount of people who think they represent the entirety of the group. A lot of it's probably out of fear, a lot of it's out of ignorance. Maybe some people feel the problem's too big to solve, we're never going to get black people to vote for conservatives, so why even try? That's, what kind of attitude is that, you know what I mean? If you're intent on fixing the problem, I honestly believe that conservative economic principles are a much better opportunity to solve these issues than pretty much any other solution you're going to throw at anybody, right? I mean, obviously, just giving people a bunch of money is not going to do anything. For a million different reasons. One, that it would be a small amount of money anyways. Two, just with the time value of money. People that are wealthy know one thing. Equity is wealth. Cash is nothing. We have 8.5% inflation right now. The U.S. dollar is not where you want to invest your money, right? So the idea of giving reparations, I mean, the 40 acres and a mule thing, that made sense. Because that gives you it gives you property, and it gives you an opportunity to build for yourself. You know what I mean? And that's a very conservative principle. The homesteading and building something for yourself. Now you map that onto today's world, and we're talking about, building a small business in the digital market somewhere, right? That's a very reasonable solution that crowdsources, right? Because you're putting this person in a position where they can utilize the giant audience that we've all become, right? And you're also putting it in their hands. Now you will fail or succeed based on your own merit now. And that's what the Constitution guarantees, not equity, certainly.
That's right. And also one more thing is, convincing people why, especially in the black community, not taxing them on that, and having a politician, instead of politicians agree that, not taxing people on the income that they would use to send their children to school, as a way of just getting rid of public education in this country, abolishing the teachers' unions, explaining to people why the unions are more invested in their own self-interest and in the interest of their students, of their children, right? Just sort of explaining in very practical and real terms how taxing lower businesses is in the interest of the average American citizen, because it opens up is conservative politics are rather irrational, economic, and ultimately spiritual well-being. That's the legwork that needs to be done. I mean, that's part of what I try to do in my articles I write, for like all things.
Well, it's good work you're doing. So thank you for coming today. We got to wrap this up. Make sure you go check out Jason D. Hill, DePaul University. Check out his Twitter and get the new book. It's on pre-order now. What do white Americans owe black people? Racial justice in the age of post-oppression. Thank you all for coming today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Have a good day. I'll, yeah, it's fine. Mr. Hill, we got some ads that are on here to keep this on the air. Right now, GhostBed is offering 40% off GhostBed bundles where you get a mattress and adjustable base, or 30% off everything else if you use the code DRINKINGBILLS at ghostbed.com/drinkingbils. You can get a mattress for like $35 a month, zero down, zero financing plan up to 60 months. Check them out, ghostbed.com/drinkingbils. Again, if you're in the market for an adjustable base and a mattress, adjustable base like a bed frame, you can put around it. I've got the King. It comes in two foldable adjustable base platforms, and you just fold them out inside of your bed frame. You throw the mattress on top of that, and there you go. It's super easy to do. They're not very hard to move with or anything like that if you're worried about that. And, vibrates. It's got a light on the bottom, book mode, all that stuff you've heard us talk about. So go to ghostbed.com/drinkingbils. If you need everything else, sheets, pillows, mattress protectors, mattress covers, they got all that too. And you'll get 30% off all of that. So go to ghostbed.com/drinkingbils. Get them deals. Next up is Simply Safe. It keeps you simply safe. Get it? What do U.S. News, PC Magazine, and Popular Science have in common? They all rank Simply Safe Home Security as the best home security of 2021. In fact, they just named it the best home security of 2022 as well. If you haven't seen the video of Dakota installing one in his home, it takes like 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure it says 30 minutes in the ad copy here, but It takes like 15 minutes to set this whole system up. Protects your home around the clock. Every door, every window, every room, it's backed by the best 24/7 professional monitoring of the business. Comprehensive set of sensors and cameras, including all new wireless outdoor security camera. So you always know what's going on inside and outside of your home. You can see everything through your smartphone, just like, all the best security cameras. Never a long-time contract. You can even try it for 60 days risk-free to see if you like it. So if you don't, send it back. No hard feelings. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes by going to simplysafe.com/AmericanParty. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with the interactive, 20% off the interactive monitoring. Go to simplysafe.com/AmericanParty. That's simplysafe.com/AmericanParty. Yep.